I was sitting on the swing in the schoolyard, looking up at the bright blue sky, lost in a daydream, when suddenly I was jolted out of the moment. I felt a sharp sting in the middle of my back. Then I heard a burst of laughter. I turned around and saw Gordon running towards a group of boys in my grade. He turned back to look at me. I could feel my face getting hot and red with embarrassment. His smirk said it all. They kept laughing and walked away. I dropped my head, and feelings of shame flooded my body. Tears were running down my face. It felt like the whole schoolyard was laughing at me. Being a C cup in grade 5 was like being a square peg trying to fit into a round hole. I just didn't fit in no matter how hard I tried, and I became very insecure. Having my bra strap pulled by Gordon was a regular thing, and I grew to hate him for humiliating me day after day. Each time I absorbed an internal message that there was something wrong with me. At the end of the day, I was walking across the front of the school when Gordon snuck up behind me and pulled my bra strap again. This time I swung around and I yelled, "Leave me alone!" He started laughing at me and said, "What are you gonna do about it?" At that moment, I became blinded by rage. I hauled off and I punched him in the face as hard as I could. He went down, blood pouring from his nose. He was crying and rolling around in the ground like a wounded animal. I stood over him, paralyzed in shock, and then a rush of fear came over me. My mind started racing. Did the principal see me hit him? We were right in front of her window. I panicked and ran home, leaving Gordon on the ground. I was petrified of being suspended, in fear of more ridicule and shame. But the next day, nothing happened. I didn't get in trouble, and Gordon never bothered me again. But I had no real friends. I felt rejected by my peers. This was when I gave up on myself. I stopped trying in school, and eventually I quit. I got into a lot of trouble in my younger years because I was so desperate to fit in. I carried the shame into my adult relationships too, and they were often codependent. I shaped myself into what I thought others wanted because I was afraid to be rejected again. Then one day, I met a forgiveness coach who shared how she healed her shame stories. And I started to understand the power of forgiveness. Since then, I've forgiven the people I allowed to determine my worth. Gordon was one of the easy ones. Forgiving myself was the most difficult, but I never gave up. This is how I let go of the shame and have been able to build healthy, loving relationships. Through forgiveness, I rewrote my life story, and now I love myself just the way I am. Forgiveness is a gift we give ourselves when we shift our perspective to the truth of who we are, not the stories we tell ourselves. Because without forgiveness, our past determines who we are in the present, which affects the quality of our relationships. And don't we all have a relationship to heal? A shame story to forgive? These stories do not define us unless we allow them to. So isn't it time to tell a new story? Thank you.